Chris Brown is back on this channel. You guys know I haven't posted very nice things about Chris Brown on this channel. I will admit that. But this new music that he's dropping these days, Chris, he's doing something. And I am a strong believer that you can like the art and not give a F about the artist. I don't appreciate, you know, what he has perpetuated for the past decade and plus. But when it comes to music, Chris Brown has a way of dropping a hit every, I would say, 2 to 4 years. He'll drop a hit. He releases a lot of music. A lot of it is trash. I'm sorry. A lot of it is trash. But every few years, he will have the most incredible banger that you cannot stop listening to. For me, I think, okay, so New Flame, back then he was good, right? With a loyal New Flame, that whole album, he had a great team that wanted to work with him, and then he lost that team. So what came next? It was, for me, New Flame came out in what, 2014? It took him until 2016. He had Like to Party. That, for me, that was a hit. Then, after Like to Party, 2016, I would not hear from Chris Brown again until No Guidance, 2019 or 2019, right? And then, so that all those albums that he dropped, like, bruh, stop it. And then Go Crazy, I think that was like 2019. So 2018 was it? Yeah, No Guidance. 2019, Go Crazy. And then I haven't heard from Chris Brown since wait, has he dropped any good songs since Go Crazy? Not for me, not to me. This song right here is a banger, sensational, and it's looking as though this whole album is a banger, because I heard some other songs on this album and they're fire. They are fire. So what's going on? And how is Chris Brown able to do this? I think that there's something going on behind the scenes. He's got the teams working with him again. He's innovating. And let me tell you something. I talked about this, right? What makes certain celebrities superstars and others not? It's their ability to reinvent themselves consistently. Every time Beyoncé drops an album, she's following a completely new theme that is shifting culture. Every time, even Justin Bieber does that. This is what the biggest celebrities do to blow. Now, what about Chris Brown? He has lacked, I would say, for the past, when did he drop? Like 2006 or 2005. Since he came out almost 20 years ago, Chris Brown has not innovated. He's finally innovated. And what is that secret? What is the secret to Chris Brown's innovation? He just copied Beyonce. He appropriated Afrobeats. The hottest, fastest rising genre, when nobody else is able to do it quite like Chris Brown. Chris Brown has the talent of, okay, we know that hip hop is declining, right? By 40%, allegedly, according to Juicy J and the Earn Your Leisure podcast. So hip hop is declining in numbers by about 40%. So that's on the decline. Hip hop had its rise. You know, I think it peaked in like 2019, 2020. Like, that's when hip hop was like popping. But right now it's about to be 2024. Hip hop is declining. It's 2023 right now. And hip hop artists are stuck in that genre. R&B already declined. Like, I want to say R&B declined from when Rihanna left and stopped making music. That's when R&B started declining. And I think in part it was because only really there were a few artists that were pushing it, like the Rihannas, the Beyoncés, like, and the Chris Browns. There were not that many R&B artists that were like superstars. But that's another conversation. I make my R&B videos. So without R&B, with hip hop declining, what's gonna happen? It's Afrobeats. Afrobeats is the fastest rising genre right now. And Chris Brown is uniquely positioned because he has the ability to sing like an Afrobeats artist with the refinement of a Beyonce. So he's looking at what Beyonce did with her Already album. What's that album? Black is King. He's looking at what Beyonce did how many years ago? 2019. And he's like, how can I do that in the modern time? And I will innovate in a way that nobody else is doing. And this song is so it's so effing crazy. This song is so good. It brings the refinement of an American classically trained vocalist. That's the way to put it. The refinement of that, and it brings that into Afrobeat genre. This is the real truth of Afrofusion. This is the mastery that we've seen Burna Boy do. And Chris Brown is paying attention. His last album flopped. That album that he was like, because he wasn't innovating. Because we've heard the same stuff from him. But now he's looking at Burna Boy. There's no other Afrofusion artist that is as refined. Think about, okay, Wizkid, but Wizkid doesn't have the hustle. But what other Afrofusion artist? Okay, Thames, she has a refined voice. You know, Ira Star, refined, but not the same way. Who has that the perfect Afrofusion voice? And Chris Brown was uniquely positioned, and he was uniquely in a place that he needed to resurrect his brand. And so he decided to call up his BFF David O, and they dropped this freaking banger together. Crazy, incredible song. And I expect this album, I heard, you know, some other songs on the album, crazy. But it's so interesting to me to see that Chris Brown looked at what Burna Boy was doing and was like, nah, I'm bigger than you. I'm not going to let you take this bag. And that's the thing. I made a video the other day talking about I'm not okay with Afrofusion, and it's a cop-out, and it's not good for Afrobeats. I made that video. But if Burna Boy wants to call himself an Afrofusion artist, he's going to compete with the Chris Browns of the world. He's going to create that genre, and it's open, because Afrofusion means that's a collaboration. That means Americans are invited. If you're an R&B singer, I tell you right now, pivot to Afrofusion, and you are welcome in that genre. When it comes to R&B, that's why David O walks around calling himself the king of Afrobeats. That's why he can do that. There was an interview that he had with Kelly Clarkson. He called himself the king of Afrobeats. Why? Because everybody else, they want to cop out when they come to America and make it big. They want to cop out and say they're Afrofusions. They're not Afrobeats. Burna Boy saying that. Wizkid is basically doing that. All these people, Thames, all of them. I made a video about it. Go watch it. But David O says, no, I'm gonna stand and wave the flag of Afrobeats. And that's why he's the biggest artist in Africa. And that's why, that's another conversation. But when it comes to that, Burna Boy is going to realize very quickly when it's time to hand out the album for the best Afrofusion genre in the Grammys, if they ever create that, it's not going to you, Burna. You're not no king of Afrofusion. That's now a new genre that everybody is open. If you're of Black descent, screw it. If you are anybody, well, I would say a Black descent first, you are welcome to do Afrofusion. You are welcome to bring the sounds from wherever you're from and you merge it with Afrobeats. And then you collaborate with African artists the same way Chris Brown has done, with not just one, but two, with the most established one and an up-and-coming artist. You do that collaboration, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So this is how Chris Brown used Afrobeats to resurrect his career. Well done, Chris Brown. I admire it. I wonder if he's watching my videos, because I be talking about this stuff. I wonder if his team or people are watching these videos that I make, because I be talking about how Chris Brown, you know, could not reinvent himself and what he needs to do. So, and I think another reason, what's interesting to me with Chris Brown is that the reason why, even though in America he's canceled, and it's difficult for him to like really progress beyond his cult following fan base, in Africa, he is celebrated. So whereas the biggest artists in America are not going to work with him, like the Beyoncés and stuff, somebody like, you know, the biggest artist in Africa, well, he probably does worse than Chris Brown. I mean, you know, David O's whole, like, you know, scandal and stuff. He's like the biggest artist in Africa. And he's like, I'll work with Chris Brown. And a lot of people, African men, they celebrate Chris Brown, especially after the domestic abuse situation. I remember a lot of, you know, Nigerian men were like, They didn't see a problem with it. They were celebrating him. So Africa has no problem. Unfortunately, this is another video for the Kenim O show, not for this channel. But unfortunately, there's a acceptability around domestic abuse and putting a woman in her place, something that was in the 18th century in the UK allowed by law for a man to beat his wife. That is a belief that Africa hasn't quite yet fought off. So people don't look bad or look down on Chris Brown in Africa because of the because it's believed to be acceptable to beat women. And so he will have the red carpet rolled out for him, for not just him being just an immense talent, because not everybody can get away with doing an Afrobeats collaboration. Chris Brown is uniquely positioned because he's a guy's guy. Like, guys love Chris Brown. He's a great dancer. He has that thug in him. He used to have the pretty boy thing, you know, and the girls loved him. He used to be a guy's girl, but he's a guy's guy. I think it's maybe something to do after the domestic abuse situation or the joining gangs and stuff. Something around that makes him a guy's guy. And I feel like a lot of African men like him and identify with him. There's no shade to them, not saying that all of them are domestic abusers or anything, but I just think it's interesting when I talk to a lot of African men about Chris Brown. A lot of them like kind of just ignore the domestic abuse, even if they're not abusive themselves, but they just like him because he's a cool guy in their eyes. And that's something that America is not accepting, because America has an attack on masculinity and toxic masculinity too, which I think Chris Brown occupies. But America has in the media has a general attack on masculinity, and Africa is the opposite. Africa attacks femininity and celebrates masculinity, whatever shape or form, whether it's toxic, whatever it is. So Africa looks at Chris Brown like he's cool. So he has the swagger, the approval of Africa, and he could come in and do all these collaborations. And he will get the red carpet rolled out for him. And he saw his unique positioning and said, I am going to make music that is transformational, that is a smash banger hit. This song is crazy. Everything about this song is crazy. The beat, his vocals, nuts. The collaboration with Afrobeats, he even sounded better than them. He was showing them what Afrofusion should sound like. These are the biggest Afrobeats artists, and Chris Brown was sunning them in this song. So I want to see a lot more Afrofusion songs coming out like this. I encourage any Black American, make Afrofusion music. Let's see where it goes. Let's see what the genre evolves to. It's so fresh. It's so new. And this is like almost contradicting what I said before about Afrobeats and blah, blah, blah. But it's so fresh, and it reminds me, because I was reading I'm reading Will Smith's book, and he talks about the growth of hip hop, or the rise of hip hop, and the fact that hip hop was new in the 80s. It's 50 years of hip hop, but hip hop was just new in the 80s, was fresh. And he talks about the evolution of it. And I got to witness Afrobeats grow and be created and rise. And so for me, it's like watching Afrobeats become the #1 genre, whether it's Afrobeats or Afrofusion. I think there's a bigger chance for Afrofusion to do it. If it's more, because it's more inclusive. Because once we do sort of like, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, if we want Black unity through music, we can't say, okay, only Afrobeats. We can say Afrofusion, but we still have to curate what Afrofusion looks like. And I like the rules that they've created around Afrofusion. It's now become, you have to collaborate with an Afrobeats artist. You can't appropriate and steal like what the Hispanics are doing with their, what's his name, Bad Bunny. And they're trying to just like steal our sound. No, you have to come in, you have to collaborate with these African artists, put them on the map, and we come together and we merge the music. And it's this beautiful amalgamation of just innovation. And just as hip hop is declining, Afrofusion, Afrobeats is on the rise. Chris Brown was smart. Beyonce kind of did this and she bounced. She better come back, because if Chris Brown does this and we need more people like a Jason Derulo did it, he made a banger too. But I feel like we don't have any American, I just feel like we have no young American talent that's Black, or any race either, really. R&B artists. Yeah, we have hip hop artists. Again, hip hop is saturated, but we need some of these YouTubers that are getting 10 million views per video and they're singing. We need the Chloe Baileys. We need them to enter this Afrofusion genre, make these hits, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, because it would be insane. But we want that classical vocal training that is refined, and we mix it with those African sounds. At the end of the day, we want to unify the Black diaspora, and if we can do this with music, we can do it. But we have to understand that, unlike, you know, what happened to rock and roll and other genres, we have to gatekeep. Hip hop was well gatekept. R&B was well gatekept by the Black community. We need to gatekeep Afrofusion if that's what we're going to do, and still let Afrobeats thrive together. They kind of have to be adjacent and work together, but we have to gatekeep it together and really use this as an opportunity to spearhead Black unity globally and Black economic empowerment and all these things. But I will say well done to Chris Brown. I probably have a lot of videos talking shit about him, but well done to Chris Brown for this incredible sound. And I can't wait to listen to the album. I heard some snippets. Sounds incredible. Can't wait to listen to the whole thing. And I'm excited to see what this inspires in the world. And I would like to see Beyoncé circle back in some Afrobeat sounds, because I know Beyoncé likes to dip and go. No, Beyonce, if you're watching this for any reason, we want you back in Afrofusion. Come and make some bangers. Look at what Chris Brown has done with this. Now, where are you going to take it, Beyonce? Where can you take this, Beyonce? Because Beyonce is an innovator. Chris Brown is lukewarm. This is a smash hit, don't get me twisted. But when Beyonce comes back to Afrobeats with the new sounds that she's created in her last album, Renaissance, and you bring that into Afrofusion, oh my goodness. And Rihanna, I hope you're paying attention, because we're waiting for you. If your next album comes out and it's Afrofusion, oh, Lord have mercy. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think Chris Brown is garbage? What do you think about Africa supporting Chris Brown? What do you think about Chris Brown's comeback? I'm actually going to give him a chance. I'm going to put some more respect on his name because this boy has talent. I'm going to acknowledge his talent. I might not like what he perpetuates, but because I'm listening to the music, he has my ear and my attention. This is the first time he's had my attention since I heard about him kicking Karuche down the stairs in 2016. So he has the attention. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. You're watching Brand Video Pro. I'm your host, Kenim O. Don't forget to follow my membership. I have exclusive videos on there. I talk about industry secrets in just entertainment, music, film, etc. You really want to get that if you want to get insider secrets. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.